Hey everybody, welcome back to Flux Core Friday. Well, as promised, we're going to turn this piece of drain grate into a all-purpose roll-around work cart, and it's going to be perfect for torch cutting, plasma cutting, grinding, just general purpose welding, or just to hold up your tools while you're working on something else. So stick around. This piece of grate measures about 36 inches by 36 inches, give or take an eighth of an inch here or there. Going this way, it measures an eighth of an inch under 36, and then going this way, it measures about 35 3/4, something like that. So we're just going to treat it as a 3x3. What I want to do is I'm going to build a frame around this using some 1.5-inch square tube. And it doesn't have to be much. I think I've got 14 gauge, I believe. So that's going to be perfect for that. However, so this is the bottom of the grate. And I know you can't tell from this, but, well, you can probably see right there. See how flexible this is? Obviously, it's not flexible this way, but it is flexible this way. And if we don't build a substantial frame under this, it's going to cause issues and it's going to sag and, you know, it's not going to be good. So when we build the square frame around this, I also want to run a piece through the center, and that should support this so it doesn't sag. Okay, so I've got the tubes cut for the outside. Again, these are 1.5 inch, 14 gauge, I believe. And just like on the last Flux Core Friday when I was building that gate frame, I'm going to start by just tacking the inside corners. Okay, once I've got the inside corners done, then I'm going to come and do this part on the top all the way around, and then I'll finish out this on the inside, and then I'll come and do this. And then what I want to do is come attach this to the grate, probably like every third or fourth one. And then on the sides, I'll do like one there, one there, one there, one there, you know, just so that it's attached to the grate. And then I'm going to cut the piece that I'm going to put across the middle. Okay, so that gets them all tacked in the corners. And so now, oh, and I wanted to tell you that my setting on here is D5. All right, so now I'm going to do this top part here. Now, when you're doing one like this, I want to show you. So I'm doing like the rolled corner of this one, but I'm doing the end of this one. So what I want to do is I want to concentrate more of my heat on this side where it's a little thicker. Concentrate it here and then just jump over there and do it. Jump over there, jump over there, jump over there. You know, if you try to go straight down the middle of the crack, you're going to wind up blowing this out. So since that part's rolled over like that, and then you have a piece like this, you want to concentrate more of your heat on that rolled over point because, you know, technically it's a little bit thicker, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you just, I know you can't see the arc, but if you can look at the movement of my gun, you'll see what I'm doing. So I was more on this side, and now I would just let it bleed over to this flat side. Now, if it looks like it's getting away from you, or you start blowing a hole, don't be afraid to stop. Let that metal turn from orange back, cool back down before you start over again. All right, so now that those are done, I'm going to go and do the insides of these. Okay, now that they're fully welded on the inside corners and on this top, I'm not going to take the clamps off yet. I'm going to go around and attach the top to the square tube. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump up my settings probably to around G7 because this is pretty thick, and I'm going to just concentrate on getting as much heat as I can on the grate, and then letting a little bit of the puddle spill over onto the square tube. I'm thinking about making a little cart for my titanium so I can drag it around on wheels with me, and it'll be low to the ground so I can drag it around like one of those old vacuum cleaners. Now on these, let me see if you can see in the camera. If you can see these pieces coming along here? Well, they kind of stick out a little bit on the ends, and that's where I'm doing a tack right on the ends of these pieces, and I'm letting a little bit of the puddle spill up to this square tube. I'll show you a close-up in a minute. Okay, this is this side where, see, these are coming all the way here to the end. And all I did was I put my gun on there, and I just went around in a big circle right at the end of that and let it bleed over onto the onto that square tube. And I'll show you some better close-ups after I wire wheel this and get it all cleaned up. And that's basically the same thing I did on there. I started on the grate, and then I just kind of let it bleed bleed up to the square tube. Okay, so again, this is where I just put a bead at the end of this piece at each one coming down. I just put a bead on each one, and all I did was I took my gun and I just went around in a circle, you know, on each one. And it doesn't really have to be very strong, because all I'm doing is when I flip this thing over, I don't want the grate to come off the legs. That's the only thing I'm doing. You know, I'm just trying to keep it down, you know, keep it from falling off. That's the only goal. All right, so now I'm going to cut the piece that goes across the middle. Now I've got this center piece cut in place, and I've got it clamped in 3 spots. And what I'm going to do again is just put a tack in each corner right in the middle on all 4 sides. And I've lined it up with this piece. And so I'm going to use that to tack this to the grate. Okay, when you're doing a project like this and you want to make sure that everything stays square, make sure that you use clamps. These are just some cheap F clamps that I get on Amazon. I think I get 4 for $40 or something like that. But I'll put a link in the description where I get these clamps. They're pretty nice. I like them. I've been using them for a while. Okay. We take the clamps off, clean this up a little bit. It's time to cut the legs. And so this is me. I am 5'11". My current cart is 35 inches tall from the ground to the top of the grate. And so if you're a little bit taller or a little bit shorter, you know, you may want to adjust these values. But this works out perfect for me. That's right where I want it, right where I need it. So the other one, the new one, so we've got the grate. The grate thickness hasn't changed, but we did add this right here, which is this 1.5 inch square tube. So we have to compensate for that. And my wheels are a 1/2 inch taller than the current wheels. So I need to make the new legs 27 inches. And I think that'll get me going. And another thing I need to think about is these legs. So on my current cart, you can see that the leg goes all the way down, and then these side pieces are, you know, welded to it. I don't have a square frame at the bottom with these legs welded on top. I don't know why I did it that way. It doesn't really matter what way you do it. It's just the way that I built this one. And so I'm using these measurements to go by. So I need to remember this orientation when I get to this point on the new cart. It's time to put these legs on. And I have my trusty little magnets. I'm assuming you've got magnets too. I wish I could afford those really nice ones that have the switch that you can turn the magnet on and off. Ah, those are nice. But so again, all I'm going to do is I'm going to tack these. I'm going to tack it right here. I'm going to tack it here, and I'm going to tack it right back there. Don't weld out anything until you get further along on the project, because everything is going to move around. Okay, so I had to charge my batteries, so I went ahead without you. What I got done was I put up these legs, got those all squared up and straight, and I've done 3 of the cross pieces that will be at the bottom. Of course, right now it's upside down, so it's at the top, but you get it. So I'm going to weld these 2 on. And again, I'm just doing tacks just to make sure I've got it where I want it. All right, so now I can pull the magnets off and weld these down. Now, I don't know if it's proper or not. I've never really thought about it, but when I'm doing flux core on something like this, I like to go down because you got to pull it anyway, and it'd be kind of hard to do it like that. And I just figured you'd get a bunch of slag inclusion in there, so I've always just done it down. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and finish welding these legs down. Okay, for these, I've got the titanium set to C4. That's what I'm going to use to do this, and this is a nice little fillet weld, so I'll probably just do little circles like I like to do. All right, let me grab a wire wheel, clean that up, and show it to you. All right, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to do this one. Okay, for that one, I went back and forth like this. Just change things up a little bit. It's no biggie. You can do it however you want. So that's the thing about doing your own project. You can do it however you want. Kind of like Bob Ross. We'll just say a happy little weld lives right there. All right, so I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the details. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the rest of these bottoms. Boy, this thing is getting pretty big, pretty heavy. I had to set it down on the floor so I could get to these up here. But let me knock these out real quick. Ooh, this thing's getting heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Okay, so now I'm going to cut the plates for the casters and we'll be finished. All right, so now I'm going to weld these plates on, and this is where the casters are going to sit. And some of you eagle-eyed folks may notice that I didn't drill holes. Well, the reason why I didn't drill holes for the wheels is because there would only be one that I could get on. So I'm going to be welding the wheels to these plates, and I know a lot of you are going to flame me for that. And I mean, I could have moved this down to here, you know, and had better access to do it. But you know what? This is a shop cart, but more importantly, it's my cart, and I'm going to do it the way I want to. And if I was making this for somebody else, yeah, this would be a whole different story. But you know, you build your cart the way you want. I'm going to build it the way I want. And you know, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. Okay, so these are the casters that I chose. They're of course from Harbor Freight, and each one of them is rated for 320 pounds. It's item number 69847. Now, what I like to do is I like to plug weld through these holes. That way I don't have anything showing. And like I said, if I was making this cart for somebody, man, I would pull out all the stops. I mean, I would use every trick in my book to make these things look fantastic. And you got to watch this machine, the titanium. Some of y'all probably already know. It didn't take a whole lot for these knobs to get turned out of whack. I just had the strap drag across it and cranked it all the way up to max. So let me knock these wheels out real fast. Okay, let's get this turned over, see what we got. See if we did any good. Oh, God, this thing's heavy. Dang. Nice. Nice. Let me bring my other one over here next to it. So I did pretty good. That is straight across. So now if I got something long, I can use both of them, and I know that they'll be close to the same height. Okay, so I am super excited about my new rolling cart. You could probably build this in 3 or 4 hours. It's almost 8 o'clock right now, and I started around 1:30 or 2. But I've had several interruptions today. People coming in because it's still Thursday for me. And so it's almost 8 o'clock. So now I have to go edit this. And it looks like I'm having Chef Boyardee for dinner. So I've got to edit this. This is going to take a while. I got to upload it so that you can have it on your computer tomorrow. And I like to, try to get it on there around noon for you for Flux Core Friday. But look, if you got something out of this, please give me a thumbs up. It goes a long way to my channel, helps me get recognized by the YouTube analytics. And please subscribe. It's free. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm not going to bore you with that, I'm going to take this 60 grit flap wheel, and I'm just going to run that along the tops of this because this is painted, and I want the tops of these to be bare metal so that if I do have something on here, I can just clamp to the cart. So next week, we're going to improve this. I want to build hangers for my angle grinders. I might even put in a power strip so that I can just plug in one line, and I've got all my angle grinders hanging here. We might do something over here, might put some hooks for something. I don't know. I'll think about it. If you've got any ideas, please let me know. Let me know of things that we can do to this to make it more usable. But I'm pretty happy with it. Look at that. It rolls so easy for it to weigh as much as it does. And it was built all with flux core. So thanks for watching. I appreciate every single one of y'all more than you realize. And please leave comments, because I answer every single comment, whether it's good or bad. Let's learn from each other. But y'all have a great weekend.